The passing of the constitution was a really big deal for Kenya because before we had a constitution that offered, it had clauses, drawback clauses, so it offers benefits on the one hand and with another clause it takes away.
This is a breakaway from the previous system where constitutional enforcement was a nightmare.
So what we see in the new constitution is a particular chapter that is solely dedicated to the Bill of Rights, which therefore means that every Kenyan is assured of certain rights to them by virtue of just being human and by virtue of being Kenyans. So I think the biggest thing was a particular chapter wholly and solely dedicated to the Bill of Rights.
It brought with it economic biddings when it devolved resource. It brought with it administrative remedies to hitherto cloistered sense of governance. It opened up space for liberties and human rights.
We have consumer rights, we have third generation rights, we have the rights to health, to a clean environment. So we are seeing a wider scope of rights that Kenyans can enforce.
It simplified the modalities of approach to court. We were more or less now like India, where you can do a letter to the judge if you're a layperson. And the judge is obligated by the constitution and the rules to read through your foolscap and discern what you are trying to say.
It's amazing because many Kenyans are now, over the period between 2010 and now, they've become more litigious. We see many more cases in court. We see many more people approaching courts to access justice, mainly because of course of Article 22 that widens the scope of what lawyers call locus, the ability to approach the court whether or not an issue has affected you.
For every occasion we have had to say a little something about constitutional interpretation or construction of judicial review redresses, we have done it in a certain word that Martin Luther King says, that if our lawyer lives, let him do his lawyering until somebody says a lawyer lived here. You can today look at the corpus of that contribution and indeed see the mark that TRIPLEOKLAW places on the map of constitutional law and judicial review.